Scream 4 is a 2011 horror film that was directed by none other than Wes Craven. And Scream 4, wow, who would have ever thought we would get a Scream 4? The plot is, it's been roughly 10 years since the last killings of a Ghostface killer. And Sydney, played by Neve Campbell, she is on a book tour after writing this book about her life, her experiences. She makes her way back to her hometown of Woodsboro, and what do you know? The day she comes back, the killings start happening again. So not only is she, along with Dewey and Gail, trying to figure out not only who the killer is, or trying to survive, but Sydney is also trying to protect her cousin, Jill. Now, what I think of Scream 4 is, I really enjoy this film. I admit, still, it's not better than the original. I don't think any of these Scream sequels have been better than the original. But I can say that this is probably the best Scream sequel that we've gotten. First, let me talk about the opening scene, because I feel like I always have to talk about the opening scene with these movies. I love what they do here. I love how it starts with what you find out is stab 6. And at first you don't really know what to make of it. The story's not all that impressive because it's just some Facebook stalker that kills these two girls, and you go, oh, alright, that was kind of lame. But then you see it's actually a movie within a movie. And we see Anna Paquin and Kristen Bell watching this. And in fact, Anna Paquin goes on a rant about how bad that was, how lame that was, how lame the horror genre is in general, how it's all recycled ideas, nothing original. And she's going off and on, and for the most part, I don't disagree with much of what she's saying, but Kristen Bell clearly disagreed because she gets pissed off, she kills her, she stabs her, she tells her to shut the fuck up and watch the movie. And that was so amusing, entertaining, surprising, because I didn't really know what they were going to do next or what they were doing. The fact that that too was in another movie, that was a stab movie, it was pretty creative. Sydney, Neve Campbell, I really enjoyed seeing Neve Campbell because honestly I feel like I haven't seen Neve Campbell since the third Scream movie. So again, it was cool, she still looks good, and I like that her character now is at a point where she wrote this book. Again, she's trying to take something horrible in her life and turn it into a positive. The day she comes back, these murders start happening. Wow. Talk about the worst luck ever. There's even like a side plot where people in the town are looking at Sydney and they're calling her the kiss of death because everyone around her seems to die. And as messed up as that is to say, because come on, it's not Sydney's fault that this keeps happening to her. But shit, if it's not the truth in a lot of ways, it would suck to be Sydney's friend. Dewey, or should I say Sheriff Dewey. I love the fact that David Arquette's character, who we've seen in all of these movies, is now promoted to sheriff. I think that's really cool to see his character grow like that. And for the most part, he's more serious, but still, I mean, I'm going to be honest here, he's not the greatest sheriff in the world. He's trying, I give him credit, he's trying his ass off, but I mean, there's so many points where he looks like he could get the killer, but he just kind of fails every time. There's one moment where they go to a stab-a-thon and the killer's right there on the balcony and Dewey's trying to shoot at him, but he's like shooting at the ceiling, like completely misses the guy. He's a horrible shot. I'm like, how did you become a sheriff if that's how you shoot? But of course, Gail, played by Courtney Cox, I love the fact that they're married. They've been married for roughly 10 years, which is surprising because if you think about it, that's the only thing that they've kept as far as events from the third Scream movie. I feel like this movie doesn't reference Scream 3, almost pretend like it didn't happen, which I don't blame them. But I like the fact that they kept that in their relationship, and that I mean, they seem happy, but Gail definitely, she's not a reporter anymore. And when these murders start to happen, it's her chance to do something again or to feel important again. So I like seeing her go rogue and go off and trying to do her thing, trying to figure out what to do. But let's talk about the new characters, the brand new characters for the new generation of the Scream franchise. Hayden Panettiere plays Kirby, who... Hayden Panettiere, I mean, come on. She's gorgeous. And I like her character, though, the fact that she is a horror movie buff. I mean, come on. If you can find me a girl like that, that looks like that, and is into movies like that, the one scene toward the end where the killer is basically trying to reenact the Drew Barrymore scene with her boyfriend tied up, and Hayden Panettiere, when the killer quizzes her, and the question where he doesn't even finish the question, he says, "What's the horror movie remake where," and then she just cuts him off and she names every single horror remake that you can think of. I'm pretty sure she got them all, and that was just hot. Alison Brie, I want to mention her because she plays Sydney's publicist. And I want to mention her because I really enjoyed her in this film. As short as a role as she has, I liked her because since Gail is at the point now where we've been with her for 3 movies and now she's going through her personal goal, you're with her and you relate to her more. Allison ends up being that bitchy character that Gail pretty much was in the first movie. And I like that she says all of the most inappropriate things at the wrong times, but she's also funny to watch. And Marley Shelton as Judy, Deputy Judy. And since with these Scream movies, it's always a mass killer, it's always a mystery on who the killer is. Sure, you always set up some of these characters as a potential suspect or as somebody that you're constantly looking at a certain way on, they could be the killer. But Judy, I swear she's one of the creepiest characters in the movie. She definitely has a crush on Dewey, which is kind of weird. But the scene where she stops Sydney in the hallway and she's like standing there in the dark talking to her about like elementary school or something. It's so creepy, it's so weird. I might have mentioned that David Arquette wasn't the greatest sheriff in the world, but Adam Brody and Anthony Anderson as these cops, look, they're entertaining, they're funny to watch together, but man, are they the worst cops ever. The scene where they're trying to circle around and get Ghostface and then they just completely lose him, like he just disappeared on them. I'm like, wow, guys, you caused the death of an innocent teenage girl. Speaking of that, though, Ghostface in this movie is pretty brutal. He might be the most brutal and rough that I've ever seen him. The girl that he kills that I mentioned, not only the way that he kills her, but then when Sydney goes into her room and sees the aftermath of it and that there's blood all over the walls and the ceilings, and it's brutal. That should bring me to Emma Roberts as Jill, Sydney's cousin, who I liked her character just at the beginning, how much she parallels Sydney, not only with the story of her creepy boyfriend, but just the idea of her being maybe the new Sydney or just our generation Sydney. There's so many references on this being a potential remake to the series, but obviously it's not. But I like them talking about it as if it is the reveal. Because as much as I love Billy and Stu as the killers in the first movie, and as much as I love that whole ending, I feel like this reveal is the most shocking and surprising one out of any of the Scream movies. I did not see it coming at all. That Jill herself was the killer, it completely caught me off guard. Her and Rory McCulkin, yes, Macaulay Culkin's brother, the fact that she was also using him like a puppet, like an idiot, and her whole rationale, her reason. This is how you do it. I feel like they tried to do this with the third movie, with Sydney's brother, random half-brother that no one knew about being the killer. This is how you do something like that. If you want to make it a family member of hers, you introduce her or the character in the movie. So throughout the movie, you think that they're one of the main characters, one of the good guys, somebody that Sydney is trying to protect throughout the whole movie. So then when you see that she's the killer, it's a double mind fuck. And to see how she just wants to be Sydney, not even be like her. She wants to be her. She wants her fame. She wants her fortune. She was willing to kill her own mom just to mirror the life that Sydney had. It's so disturbing when she goes off on her tangent about how we live in an age of reality stars and you don't even have to work or go to school to be rich and famous. It's scary by how true she is. And then the ending just kind of kept going on. I know originally the plan was to do a Scream 5 and a Scream 6. So the ending, I think, would have ended with Jill getting away and whatnot. But at some point, somebody said, no, we have to have a happy ending. We have to have the hospital scene and whatnot. Personally, I'm glad that they did that as different and as original as it would have been to have Jill get away as the ending. I think that since we're not getting a Scream 5, clearly, I think it works that we got a finality to this. It sucks that more people didn't go out to the theater to see this. I don't know what happened. I guess people just, in 2011, didn't give a shit about Scream anymore. I don't know. I think that might have helped kill the slasher genre, because you don't see too many slasher horror movies anymore, and that's what sucks. But not only just that, the fact that this was such a good movie, the fact that Kevin Williamson himself came back to write this script. So obviously, guys, I highly, highly enjoyed Scream 4. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you did see Scream 4. What did you think of it? Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!